Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. The nuclear power plant from Zaporizhya is under siege. By whom? If you read the articles, you read about Zelensky and some Ukrainian officials saying that the whole world is exposed to danger because of the Russians. But the Russians have control of the power plant. And who's shelling the power plant? Are the Russians shelling themselves? No. So you can guess who's shelling the power plant. And it's not the Russians. Guess, we have two. Ukraine or Russia. Russia controls the power plant. Who might be shelling it? No, it's not the Turks. No, it's not Indonesia. Yes, that's Ukraine. This article comes from Republic World, and it's from today, August 8th. And it says here, Russia claims Ukrainian forces shelling Zaporizhya, a nuclear power plant, and calls it threat to entire Europe. So now these guys point the fingers at the Ukrainians and say, wait a second, we control it and you are shelling us. So how can you say that we are the ones destroying the power plant? So it didn't make sense when I made a video yesterday regarding this issue, and I was thinking, why would the Russians, need to destroy the power plant and go and attack it when they can just send 2 missiles if they really want, and they create whatever those guys say that the Russians want to create? Panic. So let's say Russia warned that the shelling of the ZNPP Zaporizhya nuclear power plant by the Ukrainian military poses nuclear security threats not only to the surrounding regions but to entire Europe. As the war between Moscow and Kiev continues unabated, Russia warned that the shelling of Zaporizhya nuclear power plant by the Ukrainian military poses nuclear security threat not only to the surrounding regions but to entire Europe. The statement was made by the Russian embassy in the United States. Located in the southern Ukraine, the Zaporizhya national nuclear power plant is the largest nuclear plant in Europe and has been occupied by Russia since March this year. April, May, June, July, August, whatever. The Russian embassy also urged American media to refrain from mentioning the attack on the nuclear plant in the Russophobic approach. Yeah, if you read the article, it's like the Russians are the ones. No, the other guys are shelling. Oh, and you can say, well, what were you doing over there? Well, it's beyond that. They're not going to go anywhere. If you leave it as the same with Germany and the sanctions. Germany auto or self-sanctioned itself, or self-sanctioned. It's not because of the war. They impose sanctions. If they didn't impose sanctions, the war would have ended or whatever over there between the two countries. Nobody else. The same here. However you want to take it, they already got it. If you shell it and now you destroy it, you can say, oh, because they invaded. That's why we destroyed the power plant. So that's the Russians' fault. And I'm quoting, we drew attention to the disinformation campaign unfolding in the local media in order to attribute responsibility to our country for the situation with the Zaporizhya nuclear power plant. It is stated indiscriminately that the Russian military carried out artillery strikes on the territory of the nuclear power plant. The real state of affairs is exactly the opposite. The embassy stated on Telegram. It also accused the Ukrainian armed forces of intentionally shelling the nuclear plant in order to shift the blame on Russia. Now, you tell me who's shelling it? I mean, you can say, yeah, the Russians are shelling themselves over there to create panic and then blame the Ukrainians. Well, if you take it like this, I think it's the United States who's shelling it to blame the Russians. Or I think it's the Japanese, actually. I mean, if we go talk like this. I mean, it's not impossible, but you don't go in an investigation to the least probable scenario. You start with the most probable and you discard it after you find out. You go, okay, that didn't work, go to the next one. And the next one, You got alternative hypothesis. That's how it goes. Alternative hypothesis in any investigation. You say, okay, what can that be? It could be the Ukrainians. This is one hypothesis. Could be the Russians, and then the Martians, and then the guys from the moon, and then the, I don't know, the whomever you want to say, the wolves or the sheep. No, that would be us. No, we can't do that. So, Russia claims Ukraine shells Zaporizhya nuclear power plant to discredit Moscow's forces. The Russian embassy further stated, and I'm quoting, "We note that this is not the first provocation of Kiev at radiation hazardous facilities. In order to discredit Russia, the Ukrainian authorities do not disdain anything, creating a real threat to nuclear security not only in Ukraine but also in Europe," end quote. According to the interdepartmental coordinating headquarters of the Russian Federation for Humanitarian Response in Kiev, Ukrainian forces fired artillery shells on the territory of the specified facility on August 5. It further claimed that at least 2 high-voltage power lines and a water pipe were damaged as a result of the shelling. Russia attacked Zaporizhya nuclear power plant in March. So since March, everybody was sleeping on the phone. It is pertinent to mention here that the war between Russia and Ukraine has been continuing for well over 5 months now, with no sign of ending anytime soon. Notably, the Zaporizhya nuclear power plant was attacked by the Russian forces earlier on March 4, 2022. The facility was set ablaze after coming under attack by the Russian troops. Yeah, we know what was set ablaze, and then we know who hit with rockets, surgical hits. They only hit the Russians over there. Further, the attack has also invited widespread condemnation as world leaders slammed Russia, Vladimir Putin, for invading Ukraine. Yeah, and then they pick and choose the information. Yeah, invaded. Why? Unprovoked. No more questions. Bye-bye. That's how you can't even argue with this kind of people. You can't even argue. I know when the Russians went over there and they hit that office building, and everybody was crying that they hit a reactor, and it was a lie, and it was an office building, and then it was the Russians obviously put military personnel around and military equipment, and then according to the media, the Ukrainians hit exactly one of those things, and precisely right there. They didn't touch anything, everything was cool, only the Russians died and their weapons. Again, let me take my violin and play you some, I don't know, whatever, Mozart. So it's just unbelievable. Not unbelievable, it is believable, but sometimes I feel like vomiting when I read, and I'm thinking, how can you guys, you say something yesterday and you say something today, and you expect, obviously you expect us to, what, I was born yesterday, actually this morning. But it works, because a lot of people, unfortunately below 86, a lot of them, the majority actually, but luckily we are so smart here, right? Yes, we. What can I say, man? It's very, not only illogical, I think it's clear, I don't know, it's clear misinformation, disinformation, propaganda, whatever. The Russians are shelling their own shit. All right, and then remember, I have articles saying that Ukrainians are concerned with. They even asked the international community to get together and to fight against the Russian threat of nuclear. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.